Yeah, welcome back again to everyone. So the next topic is on challenges in water conservation in rural as well as urban area. So water conservation faces distinct challenges in both rural and urban areas, with issues ranging from infrastructure limitations in rural settings to high demand and pollution in urban centers. So rural areas often struggles in inadequate water storage, poor infrastructure for water management, and vulnerability to seasonal changes and climate changes impacts. Urban areas, on the other hand, grapple with high water demand, aging infrastructure, pollution, and behavior patterns that hinder the conservation efforts. So let's explore this further with Dr. Sumit Pal, Scientific Officer, Syngenta Foundation India,
Right.
Dr. Kishore, Professor SWC Soil and Water Conservation Engineering, Dr. PDKV Alok Institute, and Mr. Sunil Ramareddy, Operation Lead, Lakes, and is a eco activist, practitioner, and water conservation activist. Okay, so we'll start with my first question. We'll go to Dr. Sumit Paul. The National Water Mission of India, which is one of the eight mission creating under the National Action Plan for Climate Changes, emphasizes research studies on all aspects related to impact of climate changes on water resources, including quality aspects. As a scientist, what is your take on the same?
Okay. Thank you, Raghu. And thank you, Sreshta and Raghu, both of you for having me here. And yeah, this question is
Thank you,
very
sir.
uh, so. And thank you for asking this kind of question because as per my understanding and knowledge so far in 2011, this program has been started as National Water Mission. And the key objective of this mission is related with the whatever the impact has been done from climate because of this climate change and need to cover all the aspects related to the water conservation and also to increase the efficiency of water by 20%, at least 20% by that through this mission. As I'm an agri-scientist and I closely work with rural communities and farmers, basically we are working with smallholder farmers. So I feels like that most of the objectives are comes whatever problems facing by whatever the challenges facing by the farmers has been covered in this mission. And as far of now, if we talk about climate change is not a kind of change right now. It's changes into a climate crisis or a this you can say climate crisis. You can say it could be a more better word or emergency also we can say because before 10 years if you talk about climate change like from this it we can say it is a change but right now it's in a crisis condition because ultimately what happening if year by year if we see the map of erratic rainfall and some in some places where there is scanty rainfall is there at that places we there is a long dry spells is going on and because of that, long dry spells and most of the farmers in India are based on rain-fed farming system, you can say. Assured irrigation is available in those areas where is a very good amount of groundwater level is present. So most of the farmers in our Indian case are rain-fed because they need not to require expense more on the irrigation, but they totally a sufficient amount of water from liquids you can say through rainfall. So this is one of the major thing we are seeing in this scenario in climate crisis. And because of this long dry spells, which impacting on the farmers' crop cycle, like if we talk about day-to-day climate conditions or this rainfall and other things. In May and June, we generally don't have a kind of rainfall, so much of rainfall. If we talk about 10 years back of data, if we talk about. But right now, we in May and June, we have a kind of pre-monsoon conditions, which are generally comes in end of June or start of July. So I can say. these type of conditions not favorable for the farmers, and not just for the farmers. In case of urban condition also, not just for the rural, for the urban condition to talk about. Basically, in urban, we are trying to reduce our consumption of water. If we talk about the water conservation, instead of going any other way. But in most of the cases, we can say we are go for the rainwater harvesting infrastructure we have to create for conserving that water, and also reduce the consumption of water. Uh, okay, so yes, pop-up came, so I guess. So we can say National Water Mission is a plan, is a kind of proper plan, you can say, from our Indian government, where we are able to find out that R&D thing, research and development, in the case of where is a depletion of groundwater level is going to be happening, or we are making some models regarding that in next 10 years or 20 years. It could be a possibility that in those areas, if we are continuously extracting that water, groundwater, there is a chance of depletion of groundwater level in that area. Also, the water scarcity mapping also we can see where there is a water stress condition where right now prevailing. We can map those conditions also through this. They are doing those things with researchers and scientists. So that each and every community, not just the farmers, but the urban peoples, the rural peoples who are not doing their farming practices in that area, they are going to be benefited from that. So overall, we can say that National Water Mission not just providing a hope to the farmers, or not just providing a handed support to the farmers, but to the urban areas. And also, in last, I want to say that if science is a kind of things, it should be in a community level or in a combination level. We can say science should be helpful, not for the persons who are doing that science, those scientific discoveries and all those things. It should be helpful to the mankind also. And here, in case of our scenario, the farmers, the city peoples, the metropolitan city and residents, those all should be get benefited from this type of research activities and planning. So that is my take on this. I can stop here
Really,
for if you have any question and some discussion to be done, then I can start.
yeah,
Yeah.
really good, Dr. Sumit Paul, and you and your organization. So rightly pointed out, like the R&D and technological development is not only for the mankind as well as for the planet that you are doing, include both for a PPP. So people, planet, and profit. That's
Okay.
really good to hear. Thank you very much. Dr. Kishore joined the call.
Sir, he will be
Welcome.
joining.
He
Dr.
joined.
Kishore is joined? Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Welcome to
Okay,
Sumit,
good
Dr.
afternoon.
Kishore.
Yes, myself, Dr. Kishor Gharde,
Yeah.
as working as a professor, soil and water conservation engineering, mostly working on remote sensing application in the soil conservation, water hydrology, drought monitoring, and agriculture application for hazard management and management for crop productivity.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice,
Thank you,
nice to
Dr.
meet you.
Welcome,
Kishore, for
sir.
your introduction. Nice to have you here. So we have a question for you. uh, so what support and regulations should the government bring in rural area at the same as a huge impact on rural population at the same time leads to a large scale migration due to lack of water, resulting in lack of livelihoods in agriculture based rural economy? Dr. Kishore?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got a question?
Yes, yes. Please repeat, sir.
Yeah. So, what support and regulation should government bring in rural area uh, a- as the same as a huge impact on the rural population at a time where lead large scale migration due to lack of water, resulting in lack of livelihood in agriculture based rural economy? Basically, what are the government regulations that you're expecting with your expertise to mitigate agriculture people migrating because of water scarcity or lack of livelihood from from rural area to urban area?
Agriculture is basically to increase the double farming income. And the infrastructure in the agriculture, just like the rainwater harvesting and irrigation facility to improve the agriculture productivity and input to the agriculture, cost of the agriculture, that are the main constraint, and the MSP, minimum support price, not provided by the government. So that in relation to the what are the input has been given to the agriculture sector. So that due to that productivity and the cost of agriculture, and they not give beneficial BSBC ratio to the agriculture. So high, the most of the people interest in the agriculture, they cannot invest it in the agriculture. Due to that, they are not get the benefits of that. So for that, there are the 3 points has to be to improve the agriculture. 3 point has to be given. Minimum investment, productivity has to be increases, and the cost of production has to be reduces, and so why the benefit to the farmer has to be given. So for that, minimum support price has to be increases by the farmer as per the Swaminathan reports. That is the main constant. Swaminathan report has been given. There is some so much the constant for that improve the productivity and the cost of the product, cost of the price of the agriculture, that has to be improved. In the agriculture, most rural peoples now they are the literacy has been increases. They have government has to try to provide the trainings to the rural peoples by providing some of the supplement trainings and some of the supporting programs to the FAO. And in case of the Maharashtra, Maharashtra government has an employment in 1914 to 2014 to the 19. Jalat Shivar Yojana. Under that, Maharashtra government has been constructed the 10 lakh farm ponds, rainwater harvesting structures. So that provided the supporting to the, and one of the project also now launching by the Maharashtra government, that is the Pokhara, climate resilience agriculture. The climate resilience agriculture, that is the best for the what are the varieties you need to be have to be adapted in the changing climatic scenario, and that hazards will be occurred to the rainwater harvesting and the crop adapt with the crop product crop type of the varieties to resilience in the case of the resilience climatic change. So these are the some of the constant government has been planning. Or in case of Maharashtra, same can be replicated in the other part of the country. So the public-public partnerships with the government supports need to be have to be most focusing on the improving the agriculture with irrigation facility, meet minimum input, that is organic farming is also one of the concept now has booming in our country. So whatever you have, you input it there and give the sustainable agriculture productions. That is a concept, and that you give it the more agriculture productions, and the cost of the input is will be reduces. So the sustainability can be increases and farmer can be sustainable. And one thing is the government, I request to the government has to be thoughts about the MSP. So the minimum support price to be diversified to the every kind of the peoples or the agriculturists, so they can be sustained. So if you have, I will give them an example that our Vidarbha region, most of the crop are the cotton, soybean base in the Kharif, followed by the chickpea and harvest crop. So last year soybean crop, 2 years soybean crop productivity is double now. It is a 10 hectare acre per 10 quintal per acre. But sale of the product, that is the price is only in the market in the 4,000 per quintal. Before that, before 2 years, it was is a 6,000 per quintal per acre. So it's kind of the fluctuation in the market that create the problem to the agriculturist. So same case is about the cotton-based industry. Cotton now, people are thought to be have the shorter. Before that, cotton was cultivated for the 180 days. Now it is people are thought to be the cultivated for the 90 to 100 and to 220 days. And after that 120 days, you can be go for the double cropping system. So that increase the people's mandate, but What is about the output? That rate, MSP rates before 10 years, 2 years, 3 years, cotton was used to be sold at the rate of the 10,000 rupees per quintal. Last year, it is this year, you have people are selling agar to sell the crop cotton at the rate of 6,000 rupees per acre. So that fluctuation rate, though the productivity increases, that benefits is not getting at that rate. That is why, and that a burden into the we cannot people say. So maintaining the same rate to rate of the sale of the crop products, that is good for the enhancement to the crop product. And then question of the inputs and input and output are the more major issues that has to be sustained by the governments. And that regarding that policy has to be developed by the government for the survivability of the agriculture.
Understood. Thank you, Dr. Kishore, for that nice explanation. Basically, providing minimal saleable product price, and also not uh, protecting a farmer irrespective of the climatic situations. So protecting farmers is more sustainable for a nation. Thank you for that. My next question goes to Mr. Sunil Ramareddy. We have been helping urban areas with rejuvenation of water bodies, plantation drives the government and corporate bodies. So, wearing seminar to reach your minds through CSR funds. Tell us about your journey when it comes to water conservation. So, I have been associated with a lot of activities. I've been seeing you with a lot of water conservation activities. So tell us about your journey with respect to water. So, what is your relationship?
Firstly, I would like to thank Exneco team for having me on this webinar. Second, and also thanks for allowing me to share my small journey, how it started in the water conservation space. So, my work in water conservation is not just a profession for me; it's way too personal, which I have taken it to personal like few years back. So I've been connected to the lakes and forests since my early years. Like especially, I've grown up in the region of Banerghatta, which comes in Anakal Taluk of Bangalore, where we have a lot of water bodies, which we used to have a lot of water bodies before, and which served as a ecosystems and community spaces. So my turning point came when I saw in first hand how some of these lakes were which supported urban wildlife, local livelihood like for fisheries and biodiversity had turned into sewage dumps over the year. Many reasons, one of them being urbanization. The lakes where we, in our younger days, used to wash our cattle, we used to go fishing, and we used to spend our summer holidays in the banks of these small lakes, were all turned into dump yards. We're getting stage by stage into being dump yards. And in a recent, if you can see in Bangalore from the past 4 or 5 years, we have few NGOs who are predominantly working in the rejuvenation of lakes. So one such NGO also came to the place there where I stay, and they wanted to restore the lake where we had spent our childhood. So that's when I thought there is something. Until then, it was only me. Okay, I didn't know a single person had so much of power. So that's when I started meeting these people, meeting these CSR heads and also the NGO heads. That's when I came to know about this space. So I decided all that which was there, which the intent was there in my mind, I wanted to put forward, and I thought, okay, this is the place and this is the platform to explore in this sector and contribute of whatever I had planned from years together. So there was a team now. There's a team. There are people whom we can collaborate and work with.
Yeah.
That's when I decided I shouldn't be a spectator. So over the past few years, I've been dedicated myself in reviving urban water bodies and also peri-urban water bodies, and also worked in watershed management across, supporting reforestation through plantation drives and spreading awareness among younger generations. One of the first lakes I worked had like the major problem what we are facing in Bangalore is the raw sewage let in. So since these lakes are all in the most lowest point of terrain. So all the sewages were being connected, and they're still connected. Okay, this is the hard fact. And so this was one of the lake where this water from this lake was also overflowing into the forests. So there were two reasons to fight for this. One was the community. Second thing was the forest, which was like receiving all the sewage also. So that was my first project. And since then, me and my team have revived a few lakes in Bangalore, in Tamil Nadu, and also we worked in a lot of forest areas also, where we have worked, especially in the watershed management for the wildlife. Because we saw 2023, we had droughts. It's not only for humans; it was for animals too. So we could raise voices and we could write articles about it, but they couldn't. So that is when we thought like we will take a little bit diversion and work for the wildlife also parallelly. And also to me, infrastructure alone isn't enough. That's why awareness and education has to be the heart of the conservation, if you ask me. Like we have conducted like hundreds of sessions for the school children, for the community, on the water and water conservation and rainwater harvesting and watershed management. What I've learned through my journey is that in any of the projects in the CSR sector, there are like four pillars that actively has to work together to make the project successful. First one is the government, which is which will help in the technical scrutiny or licensing and the support. Second is the donors, that is the corporates or the philanthropists that they support. Third is the community. They own it. They own any of the projects that we do. They are the ultimate end users of it. So community and also these NGOs, which bridge all these three things, all these three entities together. So there are many examples that we have worked where we have got all these four entities together, and the projects have been. I can I can proudly say they have been sustainable, holistic, and sustainable. And if any one of these pillars doesn't stand right, that means the whole work is going back to zero.
Yeah.
So the main work of these NGOs is bringing all these people, community, government, and the corporates together at a single agenda, that is water conservation. From my with the work I have been doing. So my journey, as it is still going, but every lake that fills up again and every sapling that takes a root, I feel that we are moving in the right direction. I promised myself to continue this work not as just as a project, but as a way of life. Because water is not just a resource. I feel it's a big responsibility of each one of us.
Yes. And it's so good to hear your journey, Mr. Sunil Ramareddy. So how good it is, like what you like, it's your profession. Okay, so that you won't feel like you're working, you're just enjoying your work.
Yeah, exactly.
You're making an impact in the society. And
I haven't been. It's like from past 4 to 5 years, I haven't. I have slept with a complete satisfaction in my life, I could say.
Yes, I can feel that. Okay. Thanks for that, Sunil Ramareddy. So my next question goes to Dr. Sumit Paul. Uh, as a principal scientist of Syngenta Foundation, what latest innovation you have done in water conservation in rural area, and how it is different in application when compared to the urban area? So is there any the question basic is basically to understand, is there any specific innovation required for rural alone compared to urban? Challenges could be different.
Yes, I got this thing. So first of all, we as a foundation working for the smallholder farmers, basically those who have a landholding size of like 2 or 2.5 acres only in rural areas, you can say. And in foundation, we try to uh, like uh, provide a solution, what we can say water conservation solution, not just water conservation, but other also like soil conservation and other things also. So, specifically in the water conservation, we have implemented a lot of technologies and practices also, which are farmer friendly. First of all, we talk about only affordability of the farmers. That technology should be affordable to the farmers. It should be friendly to them, and also it should be cost effective. So in that manner, we move towards the technology. And so far, some of the major technology which we have implemented in the field, farmers field, and also put a demonstration and doing an exposure visit to the farmers, and they are adopting those technologies in their field, in their area, or in their district, or in a state. First of all, like alternating wetting in time. This is a kind of technology which can increase the water use efficiency about 25 to 30%. And also we are intervening like direct seeded rice in those areas where groundwater level is quite depleted. And thirdly, we are going for the community level solar powered lift irrigation in those areas where there is a surface water availability is present, and but due to no proper infrastructure, they are not able to utilize those water in their field. So in that manner, so far we have done in this water conservation area, not just these things. We are also scouting and screening different type of innovative technologies, whether it is from local market or local and overseas. Overseas, there's some international institutes are there, those who are designing or innovating those technology which are in the field of water saving. So some of the technology like Unigel is there, and hydrogels are there, which are helpful in water conservation and also reducing the irrigation frequency, because they are able to secure the water, and that water can be useful in those dry spell period where it is highly required for the plant for their use. Some biologicals also we are implemented. Some Spain-based companies are there. They are producing some biologicals which are helpful in increasing the water holding capacity of a soil, which ultimately helpful in water conservation and reduction in the irrigation input area. Besides this, we have tested some autocontroller also. In autocontroller, you can say it could helpful in saving the water and also energy, because remotely they can be controlled, and need not to go to farmers to their field to stop that operation, water operation. And also they can manage the water operation remotely when availability of power is there. They just need to send some messages to their phones, and it will start and also stop after some time. So it ultimately helping in conservation of water and also energy. And not just these things, there are some agronomical practices we are also intervening and also helping farmers to adopt those after demonstration in the field. Like in paddy, we can say broad and narrow row paddy this practices we are introducing in the field, which helpful in reduction of not just the water uses. Also, it helpful in reduction of fertilizer dosage, especially if we talk about the nitrogenous. Because if we apply nitrogenous fertilizer in soil in a high amount, or you can say haphazardly, if we apply without any uh, uh, thinking about like what are the recommendation for that, it ultimately ends in the environment, like release of nitrous oxide, which is a 200 times more dangerous than the carbon dioxide gas. So it not just helpful in water saving, but also in mitigation of GHG emission, greenhouse gas emission, specifically nitrous oxide, you can say. By these things, we are helping farmers in all the way, and all these things has been in a system through our agri entrepreneur network. We are helping rural youth, whether it is from anywhere, but particularly we are choosing from their village site only, where they are going to start their archetype in that area. So through that agri entrepreneur network, we are helping those farmers, smallholder farmers, to adopt those technologies, and also providing solution at their doorstep. Because AE should be from their area only, from their village only, so they can easily go to that AE and getting information, recommendation, and if some challenges they are facing, it can be easily resolved through that. So these things we are doing at our foundation level. Uh, your next question is like how it is different from rural and urban. So for that, I can say, if we talk about rural one is not just about decreasing the consumption of water. It's talk about the water conservation, and ultimately it could be helpful for the maintaining the crop yields also, and also their farm income, and or you can say totally livelihoods of smallholder farmers, you can say. So in wholesome way, we can say in rural it is more impactful. While in case of urban, we have a kind of say of this thing like it could be like if we have to implement some water saving devices uh, in rural areas for 20 farmers, that it need to be a different approach. But for if we are going to implement that water saving device in a like apartment or a block, that
Mm,
there it could be a different issue, because in both of cases we have an infrastructure difference.
mm,
So we can say rural is quite different for the urban water saving approach. And why rural is more important? Because uh, it is directly related with our food security. Why food security? Because ultimately, if we are going to use haphazardly water, it will deplete, and later on in near future we have a problem of water scarcity in that area, as we are facing in some areas like Bundelkhand region in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. There is a kind of situation going on, and in some part of Maharashtra also, we are able to see these kind of situation. You are properly known, properly there is a condition, around 2 years back, one train has been started for drinking water that in region of Latur, that is called water train. So those are the very alarming condition which we are already getting from our back from our 2 years of so you can say. So we can say in rural area, if we go for the water conservation, we are securing our food. We are securing our food. We are securing the livelihood of the farmers. We are also making a stop on the migration of rural youth also. If we have a kind of proper uh, like trainings, capacity buildings, and also intervention, which are helping in those things and increasing the yield of farmers, increasing the crop yield for the farmers, and increasing their farm incomes. Ultimately, migration could be stopped or maybe reduced, not so much, but maybe reduced for some time. And also, if we talk about gender inclusion, like women's, mostly they are kind of helpful in those things which are easy to do. So, uh, if these things are able to prevail through water conservation, and these practices are able to pay, some innovative technologies are there, they have adopted. So, women farmers are also uh, in a going to be play a major role in it. And if whole family of a farmer is involved in agriculture practices, I don't think that they are going for migrating from that place, and they are increasing their livelihood by do more and more activities. So in this manner, I can say that this policies, whatever we are making to Niti Aayog through our Jal Shakti Mantralaya, these are totally helpful for the rural areas also. And ultimately, we can achieve our Prime Minister goal of going for net zero by 2070. And also by 2030, we can be reduce our 50% of consumption of these carbon things,
thank you.
reduction of carbon things. So
Yeah.
that is that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sumit Pal. So basically, you're clearly pointed out the difference between the water conservation requirement to rural to urban, where urban majorly consumption is more for industry or for human kind, whereas conservation of water is very much important in rural area, basically because to grow crops. Without that, so nothing has been, the nation will not be sustained. So uh, I mean, and it's really good that to hear that Syngenta Foundation is doing that job. Have a specific technology and R&D facility to help rural farmers in, and also to conserve water at the rural area. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
The next question is to Dr. Kishore. Kindly elaborate how advanced rainwater harvesting can be the answer to a lot of water conservation challenges in rural as well as urban area. So, yeah, so basically, we have been talking about rainwater harvesting from long time. Okay, so how, really coming to the rural area or urban area, what is the difference and what is the basically challenges that we are facing?
Yes, yeah, yes. Rain, water is a life. And we receive the rain water through the precipitations or the rainfall. That is only the amount of fresh water available is the 1% of the water is available through the rain precipitation or word or wet weather or country. So fresh water is available in form of the precipitation. That is good without any have the pollution or the free of cost we have received. So every individual, every people in our planet or in our country or in our rural area, in the urban area, that has to be have the harvest of water for the precious use of the water. If not harvest the water, that is water which goes the waste or the surface water that got polluted and that cannot be used for your different kind of the purposes. So the harvesting of water and reuse, that is not the rainwater harvesting, you can say broadly. In rural area, water is needed for the different kind of the activity that for the agriculture. Most of the water using the agriculture for irrigations and the domestic purposes, industry purposes. Basically, before the 15 years, we are using the water, harvesting the water in the dams. And the government plan to use the 50%, 70%, 80% of water for agriculture. Now industrialization has been take place. People's needs the and most of the peoples are complete are densed in the urbanized. And now we are using the 50%, 60% of water for the harvested water in the dams or the different kind of structures we are using for the industry or domestic purposes. So the bird agriculture supply demand has been reduces. So the productivity of the agriculture crops may be reduces and irrigation facility may be diminished. So in situ for that in the rural area, in situ water, rainwater harvesting techniques has to be adapted to conserve the water. So there are the different kind of the conservation technologies available in the in situ in the rural area. So one of that basically in farm water management for the in every farmer has to have the one farm pond so that harvest the water which of the amount of water is surface water is collected in the farm pond and that farm pond in the basically concept of that government of Maharashtra has been constructed the 10 lakh of the farm ponds 10 lakh farm ponds in the rural area for the harvest the water and use this water for the supplementary irrigation or life-saving irrigation to the farm ponds. So the productivity will increases. One thing is the one concept is that in situ harvesting of rainwater harvesting techniques. In situ rainwater harvesting techniques are in the rural area that help to do groundwater recharge. And once the groundwater recharges, so that will meet to the groundwater table and that will delineate the groundwater pollution, reduce the groundwater pollution, increase the groundwater tables so that that can be available for the groundwater pumping cells. Most of that, if you see the scenario in the last 10 to 15 years, the ground number of the wells has been increasing that by 15 per 100% more. So that means people are depending on depend for the groundwater irrigations are more than the harvesting using the groundwater for the irrigation. So pumping the groundwater and you are not recharging the groundwater. So the pollution of the groundwater is more increasing and the water table has been increasing, depleting day by day. One comes day will become that you will not get the water for the pumping the water from it. So in the concept is if harvest the water, then groundwater recharging will be concept will be more sustainable. For sustainable development in rural area, that in situ conservation measures has to be adopted. So what is the in situ conservation measure? The farmers has to be adapted the BBF technology while doing the conservation agriculture. That is the one of the concept. BBF technology that means that has to broad-based furrow along the contour across the contour. One thing is that you have to be go for the contour farming. That is the one of that mulching, one of the technology that has to be adopted. And every farmer has to be constructed. Just I have say that according to farm size that has to be constructed the farm pond. One single drop of the water should not be go from their field. They has to be harvested there and they recycle and then used for the irrigation. That concept has to be adopted by the every farmer and that concept has to be adopted by every farmer so that their single drop of water not be gained out of the farm. So the harvested water will can utilize the farm and the productivity will be increased. And then that I can see the concept that under the Jalita Shiva Yojana, government of in Maharashtra that doing by training the farmer on farm level, block level, and the village levels. That is a good sign. The water table has been increases,
Yeah,
and the productivity of the crop also has increases. That is
yeah.
the rural concept.
Thank you for
Second
that,
is that
Kishore. So considering the time,
yes, sir.
they are very valid point. Considering the time, so we are moving to the last question of this particular panel discussion. They are very good points you are bringing in. So maybe we can connect later and we can have a case study on that. It's really nice. Thank you for that. Next
Thank
question
you, sir.
to Sunil Ramareddy. How effective is a regeneration of water bodies in urban area? Do they require constant monitoring and care? And what gaps are there in present when it comes to preservation of the same? What role can government play in the same? I think you are in mute, Sunil.
So I would like to consider Bangalore when you say urban spaces. So talking more in the terms of Bangalore. So rejuvenation of water bodies in cities like Bangalore is highly effective, both ecologically and socially when it's done uh, holistic and in a sustainable manner. Where I would like to include those two words also. So we all heard this.
Yes, sir.
Like in multiple forums that Bangalore had over 1,000 lakes, which were designed in smart interconnected tanks to take this, especially to store this rainwater. But apparently today, I mean, when I talk about urban spaces, we have probably less than 200 in a reasonable good health. And many face threats every day. They are facing the threats. When it comes to peri-urban region, we have around some 800 lakes, small, big, everything included. So when you say effectiveness of lake rejuvenation, there are some visible transformations that we see given a certain period of time. One is like increased groundwater recharge in surrounding neighborhoods, and we have some improved biodiversity like fishes, amphibians, aquatic plants, and clean air and microclimate regulations in urban spaces where the lakes have been rejuvenated. So prime examples I would take is the Jakur Lake is a prime example. Uh, and we have Putinali Lake and also Kaikondrali Lake have been like the success stories. I've been personally to those places, and they've done a really wonderful job that people can see and replicate it. But the true impact lies in how these rejuvenated lakes contribute to the climate resilience, especially during floods and during the dry seasons, the droughts. So, like acting like buffers and also like storage units when we have heavy rainfall. And coming to the next part of your question, like, do they require constant monitoring? Absolutely. This is the actual critical gap today that we have. The examples I gave before, the lakes that Kaikondrali, Jakur, and also Putenali are constantly monitored. So you go throughout the year, they look the same. The water quality is same. Okay, the fields of the lake when you stand there are the same. Most lakes decline post rejuvenation because of post project maintenance, lack of post project maintenance that's not done. And another major important is no clear ownership. It's like when you take urban spaces, we have a lot of confusion between the BBMP, BDA. There are some lakes under BBMP, some lakes under BDA, some lakes under Forest Department. So no one, and it's also some lakes under Revenue Department. So there is no proper custodian or ownership that is present, and this is causing a lot of problem for the people who have the willingness of money, technical knowledge, everything. To get the licensing itself is going to take years together for them because they themselves don't know who owns that lake. So that is one of the scenarios here, and as a common problem.
To that, when I say monitoring, exactly what kind of monitoring goes into the lakes when after it is rejuvenated?
So basically, one is the water quality testing. Okay, there are some which can be done quarterly, monthly, or also like half yearly. So there are some of the projects that people are working, students I would say, who are working where they are monitoring the water quality every day, almost every day, through some IoT techniques. And why that is important? Because we will physically, you can't make out the difference between a unless there is an order, you can't make out between a gray water and a fresh water initially in the lake. So before it goes anaerobic, so if we can monitor it every day, that means, just giving an example of BOD, if the BOD loading is continuous, and this can track and show us that BOD levels in a certain days is increasing all of a sudden, that means the gray water is entering at some point of lake where there is no check. So you can track the problems very quick and make sure the entire problem is not taken for a very long term, and where you need more investment and more money to bring back the lake again. So this is one thing. And keeping an inspection on these inlets and outlets, they cause a lot of problem. If it's like choked, there'll be back flooding. If the inlets are not taking the enough water that is planned for, they'll cause back flooding. And also catchment level pollution is something we can definitely work on, and biodiversity surveys to track the ecological health, because we want to keep ecology and also the human activities both. I mean, conservation is all about coexistence. That's what I want to say here. And what are the current gaps that we have in Bangalore is, like, as I told, fragmented governance, multiple authorities manage lakes, so nobody owns it. That is the major thing. So many of the examples that I gave, like, community has owned major part in it. NGOs and communities have actually turned into a little bit into activism, and then they've got the funds and all those things. That's a whole scenario there. And in many places, it's insufficient community involvement also, where people only see what they benefit directly, not the indirect, intangible things that they're getting from their borewell. They're not concerned. That is second thing. And when it comes to CSR, it's mostly spent on beautification of the lake rather than the water quality of it, where I personally tell people who are in this space to work both parallelly. When you say rejuvenation, it should be both water and also the physical appearance of it, not just the physical appearance. Lake majorly is about water. So if water quality is poor and you're doing, if you're bringing people there, that will not sustain. People will not come there also after a certain period of time. And there is a lack of connectivity that we have lakes due to, we have this Rajkalve issues going on from years to year, and which is not solved. And the STPs, since we have a cascading lakes, so a lot of lakes, they have diverted this sewage where they're taking only fresh water. And once that is diverted, like, to a certain lakes, there should be an STP, fully functional STP, so that this water is freshly treated and taken back into the lakes.
Very good.
So these are some of the monitoring. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Very, very valid points. We can extend the discussion offline, definitely. Considering the time, we have one more panel discussion. Thank you very much for the very, very valid point. We have Mr. Vishwanath Srikantaya. He has also done extensive work. I like to meet you both and connect offline and have an extensive discussion. Thank you very much. So with this, we are ending the conversation for this panel discussion. Thank you very much, Dr. Sumit Pal, Dr. Kishore, and Mr. Sunil Ramareddy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very valid points. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.